What will happen when Queen Elizabeth II dies? When the time comes, it's predicted to be a traumatic event following the death of her father, King George VI. In February 1952, Princess Elizabeth became queen at the age of 25. Now at 92, she has been on the throne for more than 65 years and is the world's longest reigning living monarch. For many, this incredible achievement means they've never known life without Queen Elizabeth, but she can't go on forever. When the time comes, the passing of the Queen is sure to trigger both acute grief and uncertainty in Britain and around the world. As royal biographer Penny Junor explains, her death will be a traumatic event for Britain. The Queen is such a tremendously popular figure, and during the course of her reign, so much has changed so dramatically. Junor told Town and Country, there is no aspect of life that hasn't changed, but one constant in the midst of this has been the Queen, the rock-solid thing we can hang on to. While it's difficult to explain and know exactly what to expect, it is likely Buckingham Palace will be prepared to announce the news, particularly if the Queen dies following a long illness. According to the Telegraph, the palace has detailed plans in place for the Queen's funeral and subsequent succession, which has been given the code name Bridge. The media is said to be well rehearsed too, with British news networks including the BBC and ITN practicing how they will be broadcasting the Queen's death. Here is what else we can expect in the eventuality of the monarch's passing: national mourning. Multiple reports suggest that the Queen's death will lead to a 12-day period of national mourning in Britain. Large crowds visited the Queen's mother's coffin in 2002, and it is thought that the monarch's body will be lying in Westminster Hall until her funeral to allow people to pay their respects. Union Jack flags in the UK and around the world will also be flown at half-mast, and condolence books will appear in the international embassies. The Queen's funeral, there'll be an extraordinary occasion, says Junor. As monarch, the Queen will be given a state funeral, which is expected to take place 12 days after her death. The service will be led by Archbishop of Canterbury, who the senior bishop of the Church of England, and will take place at either Westminster Abbey or St. Paul's Cathedral, where there is likely to be an impressive international turnout. Like her father, mother and many royals before her, it is widely believed that the Queen will be laid to rest in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. The media's response, depending on the timing of the day, it is likely the news of Queen's death will be broadcast immediately. If she dies overnight, the announcement could be delayed until early the following morning. The BBC will suspend all planned programming and provide detailed coverage of the royal news, which will include a rendition of the British national anthem, while a picture of the monarch is displayed on screen. The Daily Mail reports comedy shows on BBC TV channels are also predicted to be suspended until after the funeral, succession and coronation. To ensure the British throne is never vacant, Prince Charles, the Queen's eldest son, would automatically become king. He has been preparing all his life, Jura said, and explained it should be reassuring that there will be a familiar face taking the Queen's palace. However, the heir is no doubt ready to ascend the throne. There is no fixed schedule in the place for his coronation. This is no mere negligence, explains the Telegraph. There is an element almost of bad taste in getting into details. There is also a risk that any plans made now would leak and cause trouble for or be overtaken by later events. There was a 16-month gap between the death of King George VI and the Queen's coronation in 1953, and with the world watching, there is no room for error. The price of getting his coronation wrong would be high, the newspaper added. Of course, Charles's ascension would bring about much change in Britain. The national anthem would be altered to God Save the King, and new stamps, banknotes and coins would be issued with an image of the male monarch. He will also succeed his mother as the head of the Commonwealth. That decision was made by the Commonwealth leaders in April 2018. I'm deeply touched and honored by the decision of the Commonwealth heads of state and government that I should succeed the Queen in due course as head of the Commonwealth, Prince Charles said in a statement at the time. One thing is for sure, the heir to the throne has a fine example to follow.